Hey everyone, this is Rob over here at Bunebape, and I hope you're having an amazing day. Today I'll be bringing you all another old school video, and first things first, of course, you can probably notice that my face is on the screen because a lot of this footage, actually all of it, was taken during the live stream this morning. I have been streaming a lot, so you can feel free to come check me out in the mornings. It's twitch.tv/Bunebape. You can find the link for that as well as all of our other social media down below. This video I decided to make about the quest A Kingdom Divided. It just released today as of making this video, and I have a lot of thoughts about it, and I think there's some really interesting conspiracy theories. I don't even know if you can call them that, but really just things that this quest are leading up to, I think can be really exciting for the future of old school RuneScape. So I have some theories. Stick around and let me know what you think about them. Also, if you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like. It really does help get the channel noticed and all of that. I also put in a lot of hard work for these videos, so if you want to see more of them, make sure to subscribe. So in this video, I'm going to be going through a summation of the quest and my thoughts about it. So if you are worried about any spoilers, then make sure to click out of the video right now. I totally get it. If you don't want to be spoiled, that's the worst. I totally get it. It's fine. But if you don't really care, or if you have done the quest and you just really want to hear my thoughts, then feel free to look down at the annotations below so you can skip around the video or just watch the whole thing through. So I'm going to be going over a summation of the quest in case anyone really didn't understand it or just space barred through it. Also, my personal thoughts on the quest and the bosses overall. And I'm going to talk about whether it was worth the hype. And also my theories that I talked about in the beginning and what that means for any of the future content. So with all that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So I don't want this video to be super extra long for no reason, so I'm going to quickly go over the quest right now just to have everyone caught up and on the same page. So the quest is you searching for a rose and seeing what really happened to the king. This man has been protesting at the council because he says that they're corrupt, so you go and investigate. So as it turns out, the council has actually been up to dubious stuff, who would have thought, and they're actually some really bad dudes. It turns out that they killed the king and also kind of low-key essentially poisoned and killed the king's daughter, which would have been the heir. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Rose, but you end up fending off all of the brooding evil and find out that Veos is actually in league with all of the evil dudes, which I never really saw that coming, honestly. He kind of helps you a lot in the beginning, so it's kind of funny that he turns bad in the end. And also, it ends up that the new king dies. But fortunately, he does have a son, so he gets crowned the king. It's a really weird twist and turn filled story, so that was a quick couple minute summation of the story just to make sure that you understand what happened. And now I'm going to be going into my personal thoughts and overall what I think about the bosses. So overall, I think the story for the quest was actually really well done. I was really interested in it, a lot more so than a lot of the other quests. It had a story that I actually really wanted to follow while I was reading through it. Not gonna lie, I obviously spacebar through a bunch of it just like practically everyone else, but the parts that I did read were interesting, and it is nice to see how the story ended up playing out, even though I feel like it was a little bit overdone. And by that, I mean, it was a little dramatic, everyone dying, killing themselves, and really just kind of not knowing what's going on a lot of the times because there are so many twists and turns. That does lend to it being interesting, but also I feel like it kind of took away from it. As far as the boss fights go, I think they're really cool. These are some of my favorite boss fights in the whole game, at least as far as quests go. They had interesting mechanics and they weren't too punishing, so you didn't feel like you needed to be really high level or you needed to be a brainiac. So Woox isn't the only person that can do this quest, obviously. If you're lower level, you might need to get a really good handle on your movement mechanics and stuff like that, or just really understanding the bosses, especially the second one going into it. But I actually found that these were really well tuned as far as the average player. Of course, I was a little over geared and over leveled, but even with that being said, I didn't read too much into any of the guides, really just the written guide letting me know what to expect. I didn't look up any mechanic for the bosses or anything like that, and I went in a little undersupplied even. Not to say that these bosses are easy for a lot of the newer players, especially because this quest doesn't have any combat requirements, so I can definitely see it being challenging for a lot of players, but not impossible by any means, and that is a really nice change of pace considering a lot of players had a really bad taste in their mouth from the A Night at the Theater quest that was just recently released. So with that being said, the bosses, I really love them. Honestly, 10 out of 10. I think that was a huge contributing factor for my total score for this quest. Nearing the end, it kind of felt as if there was way too much traveling as far as the quest goes. I think I ended up using 10 plus Cardist memoirs over the entire quest, as well as 10 plus Jagex teleports, which are by no means crazy or impossible amounts, but it just felt like there was 20 to 30 minutes of me running around for no reason, and it kind of didn't feel necessary. It felt like they tried to cram in one small favor, the other quest, if you don't know what I'm talking about, into this quest, and I was running around a lot of the time, not really doing anything super meaningful. So unfortunate that the end ended like that, but overall, I did really enjoy the quest. I thought the story was really interesting and engaging. The bosses were really cool, had great mechanics, and were not too punishing. So honestly, I think overall I'd give this quest an 8 out of 10 if I had to score it. And so I'm going to be moving on to whether I think this was worth the hype overall in my theories for the future content. I think there is potential for a huge amount of really interesting content based around just this one quest, which is why I think it had so much hype around it. So I'll be going into that in just a moment. So in the end, if you were to ask me whether this quest was worth the hype, I mean, overall, considering this quest, they said they started working on it in 2017, so it's been nearly 4 years. And also considering they've been teasing it for several months now, even with its own hype trailer, I am just going to have to say no, honestly. And there's very rarely the case that I would say yes, unfortunately. It's just been so long and hyped up so much that there's practically no way that it could live up to whatever it was hyped up to be. And obviously that is just my opinion. If you had just ran into this quest and didn't keep up with all the hype, then you probably thought it was going to be 10 out of 10 because you didn't really expect it to be as cool as it was. I could definitely see that being the case for a large majority of the player base. I mean, a lot of it was very unique, interesting, and different. So overall, like I said, it was one of my favorite quests that I've done so far, but just because of the amount of hype, I'm going to have to dock it some points. So the only way that I can really see this quest living up to its hype is if my theory about its end actually comes to fruition. So in the very end of the quest, I have a theory that the Queen Arkan, the Sun Queen that rules Valamore from the Southern Kingdom, is going to be a gateway to a ton of new quests, and not just that, but I think it's also going to allow Jagex to bring in a brand new continent to the south of Corinth and Kebos, which is currently housing nothing but blackness on the map. In the end of the quest, when you meet the queen and talk about her and her guards, it's said that not much is known about them and that they've lived to the south in the Southern Kingdom, just below Corinth and Kebos for quite some time, and they wanted to make amends. So after they make amends and the king dies, I can't help but think that that is a very obvious loose end so that they can make new quests on going there, exploring the lands, and getting revenge on the boss that you're seeing me fight right now for him trying to essentially assassinate and successfully assassinating the king. I also feel like this could lead to a totally new raid in the new zone. It's going to bring about a new race of people that we've never seen until this very last part of the quest. And by that, of course, I mean the elite soldiers as well as the Queen Arkan. Honestly, I think if this ends up coming to fruition and is true, then this quest will truly be qualified for the hype because it's introducing you into an entire new zone. The first time you see a new race, the people from a new continent, and possibly some of the most hype content that we've seen in years. So a lot of people have been saying that there is a lack of content in old school RuneScape, so this could just be them getting the ball rolling for this great new world that we have yet to explore, or at least that's my hope. So overall, that's going to be my theory for this quest, and what I really hope ends up happening. I really would like to see and hear what everyone else has to say about the quest. Did you like it? What parts did or didn't you? And what do you think about my theory? If you thought about the same, or if you kind of are dismissing everything that they said, I'd like to hear that and really wonder why you think that. And it's nice to always have a discussion about stuff like this in the comments below. If you didn't notice, I'm a real nerd when it comes to lore, so anything you might have to say, I do read and respond to all of the comments that you leave, and I definitely look forward to it. So that's going to be about it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure again to check out the stream. I'll have links in the description, of course. And also, if this was a big letdown and you're really hoping that there was a guide, I will leave a link to someone else's guide down in the comments below. There was a really nice one made by Mika or Micah RS that Michelle used and really enjoyed. So with all of that now done, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you all very soon.